You
You must come up. Stay with me sometime.
A lost woman finds the mother she never met and joins the family she's always wanted.
Well, that was a great surprise.
That's lovely.
The mother is my grandmother. Her daughter is the auntie I never knew I had, an auntie who spent her entire 68 years in institutions.
Did you know?
Yeah.
A dear little girl.
As a reporter, I've covered many stories about families, stories of tragedy, stories of joy, but I never expected that one of the most dramatic stories I'd ever cover would be that of my own family. This place is Mayday Hills, an institution for the intellectually disabled at Beechworth in country Victoria. Now peaceful, it was once a dreadful place where society's unwanted were locked away, where the worst of the criminally insane were lumped in with the mildest of the intellectually disabled, and even perhaps a few of those who simply had nowhere else to go. And unbeknownst to us, it's also been the home of my Auntie Verna for more than 52 years. Did you ever give up, Verna? Did you ever think you might not find us? No, never gave up. It's been a long wait for Auntie Verna. It was a different world when she was born to my 18-year-old grandmother, a world where single mothers did not exist because of the disgrace. Their children vanished, as Verna did, and society maintained its conspiracy of silence. Is that warmer? Verna spent the first years of her life in a depot for neglected children. At age 5, she was transferred at the request of her grandmother to Kew Cottages, a mental hospital, and her file marked no relatives to be contacted at any time. She was diagnosed with congenital mental deficiency and tagged an imbecile.
Honestly, I feel so angry with those people. I mean, they're all dead, no doubt, but it was so cruel the way they behaved.
The year after Verna went to Kew, my grandmother married, and 10 years later she gave birth to my mother, Rosemary West, herself a newspaper journalist who was not to know of her hidden sister until now.
I always thought I was an only child. I did, yes. Oh, aren't you a sweetie? No, I've got a sister. I always wanted a sister.
The sister Mum always wanted only found us because of this woman, Brenda Fitzgerald, a nurse at Beechworth who spent 18 months tracking us down.
Isn't it terrific?
Isn't it terrific, eh?
We are the 11th family she's found. How do you feel when you reunite a family?
It's wonderful. It's been a real treat, I think.
What do you get out of it?
The pleasure of seeing people accept the kind. It's wonderful.
It's obviously emotional too.
It's wonderful. Very wonderful that the families accept the kind.
It was absolutely stunning. I just, really felt as though things were coming apart and they would never be the same again. And they're not, but they fit better, They really fit better. And things that...
Verna didn't speak a word until she was 6 years old, perhaps explaining the cruel diagnosis that she was an idiot. There is now no way of knowing if she ever was disabled, or whether her simple ways and childish glee are in fact a product of nearly 70 years in mental hospitals.
Well, I personally feel there's every chance that she wasn't disabled at all to begin with. We can't know. And I sometimes think I'd feel better. I mean, it's sadder if she wasn't disabled to begin with. That's terribly sad. Really, this is what illegitimacy did to its children. That's what it was about. It was about cutting children off from their families, putting them away where they wouldn't be an embarrassment.
My mother grew up a loved and cosseted only child. At the time of these photos, her sister Verna was already in one of Victoria's darkest institutions, with some of the most violent psychiatric patients in the state. Mayday Hills at Beechworth was the hospital for the criminally insane, and it was here Verna arrived at the age of 16.
So as you can see, Rowan, the conditions of which Verna used to live in many, many years ago have
were quite terrible and quite diminishing.
So Verna actually lived in this particular room?
Correct, yeah, along with 47 other clients. Living conditions were quite abysmal, quite appalling.
So that classic nightmare picture that we have of mental asylums was real, this was it?
Totally correct, yes.
What was it? For Verna's unit manager, Graham Hill, the old sections are both a reminder of how terrible conditions were and of how much they've changed. So what's this little cupboard here, Graham?
Many years ago, this used to be used as an isolating area, and if any of the clients used to play up or have adverse behaviour, the clients would place in there.
Wouldn't have done them much good, would it?
No, not at all.
Happy? Okay, better now? The sandwich done?
Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park.
Beechworth these days is a different place and is gradually being closed down, its clients moving out into the community. But its dark history should not be forgotten, and there are still many others like Verna who are lost and who still may wish to be found. For Verna, it was a lifetime quest.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a
It's been a time of tears and laughter in our family, and there is gratitude that Verna never gave up on us, that she found us in time for us to be the one thing she's always wanted, her family.